they came off yesterday, cleaned the truck out. Yeah, I got somehow I was getting water. Somehow water got into the rug and behind the driver's seat there, and you know that wet towel, wet sweat sock smell you get. You know, kind of got that in there. I dried everything out and used some that spray can carpet cleaner in there and made it smell nice better, and hopefully that moldy smell doesn't come back. I just hope it, you know, not stuck there permanently like Kramer's smelly car in the old Seinfeld show. I remember there's one episode about about I don't know, it was Jerry's car or Kramer's car that, you know, he got this car and all of a sudden it, you know, just couldn't get rid of a bad smell. And things been sitting. I've been driving a truck bus lately since I haven't been fishing, and I put the Icon 7100 in the Volvo and been having a lot of fun with that. But I also got all my little military radios going, all three of them. I got the Model 19 or Wireless Set 19 going. I got the GRC9 going in the shack here, and also the piece de resistance, the command set system going with, and that's been really kind of nice with outboard audio fed to it. Might even put that on the netter in the net afterglow with about 18 watts today. That thing can sound really, really nice. So yeah, it's been fun and lots of things to do, Glenn. And yeah, Greg, you got the day off. So let's see. I guess it goes over to Perry. Yeah, keep an eye on the clock here. And yeah, I don't know what Ted's status is, if he's still up there or not. I can't. Let's see. I think I skipped the CWNet last week with that company over, so I didn't do the CWNet. So I don't even know if he was on for that. But we'll see, I guess, in a few minutes. Over to you, Perry. W3MMR and the old military net pre-net AJ1G.
Alright, AJ1G, W3MMR. I was just seeing that carrier there. I was waiting for them to say something, or I wasn't sure what they were doing. But okay, thanks for the compliments on the microphones, Glenn and Chris. I've had a Behringer B1 for years. A few years, probably 4 years now. I had one, and it worked great. It worked great forever. And it was my first quote-unquote, studio-grade microphone. And I put it in its, when I bought my Shure SM7B, I put it in its case and tucked it away on the shelf. And probably about six months or so later, I go to break it back out and plug it in, and I don't know, something happened with the element. But had really no gain, very, very low gain, and you know how much gain these microphones have, Glenn. And it had no gain, and it was kind of scratchy sounding, so on and so forth. And I tried different XLR cables. I tried using a different 48 volt supply. I tried using the supply in 2 different preamps. I tried using just a Behringer 48 volt supply by itself. Try plugging it in the line in, port in the back of the Anon, and the mic in jack in the front of the Anon, and I couldn't. No matter what I did, I couldn't get it to work. So I just, I actually left it on the other mic boom. It's like I got a little cheapy mic boom here for my second mic boom as well, Glenn. And then I get an email last week. I get an email from my dad, and open the email up, says Merry Christmas, and an Amazon order for a Behringer B1 microphone. Then I look at the address, and it's shipped to my house. So the old man bought me a brand new B1 for Christmas there. So that was very nice of him, because he knew that I was going to try messing around and ripping my old B1 apart and see what I could figure out with it, and he was just nice enough to go ahead and buy me a new one. So that was a hell of an awesome Christmas present for a radio operator. And it's great that it's great to have a father that's into the same hobby as you. You know, because he understands what what he needs to get. You know, instead of like my mother trying to get me something, she wouldn't even know where to start. So, but that was very nice of him. So thanks for the compliments. Yeah, this is a great microphone. It's especially for the money, for just over $100, and how good this thing can sound. You know, my SM7B was over $400, you know, and I put this up against it any day of the week. Just as long as you know how to work an EQ, you'll be fine. And yeah, Chris, I wonder if Ted's back. He's usually in here by now, but I'm sure you guys know. So my guess is he's not back yet. But I could be wrong. So, back down to you, Kev. And Kevin, you're sounding great up here this morning. Everybody's 20 over. Chris, you were almost 35 over that last transmission. And got a great little audio recording there about halfway through. We'll make it just started the recording here. So, you'll be happy with the way the rig sounds there this morning with the dyno motor whining away in the background. Down to you, Kevin. 5 minutes here before net time. And with my hamster that my son got me in the background clicking away in his hamster wheel. KK4GZQ W3MMR.
W2ILA checking in.
W2ILA recognized. Good morning, this is KK4GZQ. Thank you, Perry. W3MMR. I'll just keep it there. And I'll send it here to W2ILA and then back up to N1SNG. And getting ready to start here. So anyway, thanks for the reports on the Flex 3000 with the 30S1 down. And Glenn, you were talking about carpentry over Christmas. I did a bunch of painting outside. I got the whole back of the place done in two days. About probably 3.5 hours, 4 hours each day maybe. So it was just so nice the weather and unseasonably warm here as well. So with that, let me go ahead and pick up the braking station, send it over to N1SNG, and that should be about time for the net then. W2ILA with group KK4GZQ. Kevin in Lexington, Kentucky. Over.
Yeah, okay, Kevin. Good signal up in Rhode Island. This is W2ILA. Good morning to everyone. I heard Chris in there and Glenn earlier. Been listening for maybe half an hour or so. Very good to hear you in here as well. My name's Tom, located in Jamestown, Rhode Island, on the southern tip of the state. Running a 2368 this morning, listening on the R390A. So it's been a long time since I've checked into the net, so I figured I'd get up early and psych myself up during the pre-net, not to go back to bed for a little while. But good to hear everybody. Conditions are very, very nice this morning. Over to you, Glenn. N1 SNG W2ILA.
KD3HT.
Yeah, KD3HT. Alright, very good. I might as well start the net. I don't hear Ted at this time, but we can just freestyle it here, and hopefully we'll get everyone in here. Only running 100 watts on the ART13 this morning, listening on the Hamlin SP600. Good morning to you, Steve. Nice near full quieting signal into Rhode Island this morning. Tom just pounding in here, T368. It's got all that stored up power, all those times it hasn't been used, so it's releasing some great power there, and the audio is just fantastic. And Kevin sounding great this morning. Good having you in here. Of course, Perry, the B1 Christmas present there. What a fine gift, yes, and having Pops there on board, checking the list, and I couldn't get a better gift than that. That's really nice, and it comes with a great case too. Mine came with an aluminum, supposedly aluminum case, and what have you. So I guess that's just for the transportation, if you're doing commercial sound reinforcement, whatever you need to carry it around, you got a great case to do so. And Chris, your ART-13 sounded very good this morning. So, yes, the after Christmas net here, and we'll see how far we can go. Hopefully the conditions will hold up, and we can start the call up. Have Chris, AJ1G, Perry, W3MMR, Kevin, KK4GZQ, Tom, W2ILA, and Steve, KD3HT. Any of the chickens for the old military radio net, please call now. This is N1SNG.
W2SDR. W07DIA.
Any other check-ins, call now. Yeah, I have KA8 at KA1. Also checking in. Anyone else? Okay, nothing heard. Anyone else out there picking up any stations I might have not heard? Call now. Okay, we'll run it as it is. So Chris, I'll send it over to you. It's Chris. And W2SDR is here with us. WA7DIA, Jack, KA8TUR. So let's see what we got. I'll start off with Chris. And Chris, you can pass it over to Perry. And Perry to Kevin, to Tom, Steve, Frank, Jack, and the KAT1. I didn't get the handle there. But anyway, we'll try that, see how that works out. Over to you, Chris.
Okay, very good. N1SNG and the old military radio net. The weekend between Christmas and New Year edition, 2019, AJ1G. And, one of the things I think we haven't really talked about, but I think we are in, and Ted may recall, exactly when the net started, but I'm pretty sure that we started 30 years ago. I think it was 1989 when we first formally had our first formal sessions of the net. So we're here 30 years now, I think now. It's all started really between myself and Walt Hutchins, KJ4KB, getting on this time in the morning when the band was relatively quiet to play military radio on low-powered sets. At the time I was running a wireless set 19 into an SB200, making a whopping 50 watts that way, I think, and things just took off from there. I think then Dale and a couple other guys, my really serious military radio operation and collection. And I should probably get the 19 set on it. So I just fired it up a couple weeks ago. When I've got the GRC9 and the command set system all up and running. So we have some good conditions. I need to shift over to them sometimes. But on the ART-13, listening on the 392, like I said to you, Glenn, have this Furman audio routing rack going, and I've got several inputs. I have my iMac computer, which has my local SDR and the web SDRs coming in through the internet. Got the R392, got the EH Scott. Have a flying lead to connect to either the GRC9 or the wireless set number 19. And also the Rondel and Golterman AT611 selective level meter. So all I got to do is flick a switch, and then I have a really nice audio taper, very smooth audio gain control to bring the levels up and down, and also when I have to manually mute receivers, I can use that as well. So it's a lot of fun using it. Got everything all interconnected here now. I can jump around between receivers. That thing is only on the receive side, and right now, like I said, I'm using the command or the old Radio Shack 5-band EQ right into the dynamic input function switch on the ART13. Yeah, I think this puts out a bit more power than the maybe 50 more watts than the 20A600L combo. I guess I can report that because this just happened since the last time we met, I did copy successfully SAQ on 17.2 kilohertz on their annual Christmas Eve operations with the Alexanderson alternator over in Barrington, Sweden. At 02:30, I was on site at Stonington Point on New Year's or Christmas Eve morning and did receive them. They were kind of down in the mud, but did receive them quite well. And I actually did that, out of respect for things Swedish. I had the setup going, the AT611 running off an inverter into the 12-volt accessory socket in the Volvo XC70 along with the ICOM 7100. I also worked a bunch of European DX across the pond with the 7100 down there on a point while I was down there. So it was a fun morning. And no one seems to bother you down there even at that time of night. There was actually someone there. I don't know if he was parking with his girlfriend. I didn't really see what was going on in the car, and I didn't want to look. But they left shortly after I got there. They probably wondered who this guy was stringing wires across the rocks at 2:30 in the morning. Okay, so over to Perry, W3MMR, and the old military radio net. Everyone's signals are great this morning. AJ1G.
AJ1G in the group, or the old military radio net, excuse me. This is W3MMR. Real good, Chris. Still coming in really well here. 25 to 30 over on the ART13 with the Furman rack set up there, sounding really good here this morning. Excuse me. For those who don't know, my name is Perry, Papa Echo Romeo Yankee, and the call is Whiskey 3 Mike Romeo. We are located in Chester, Pennsylvania, 7 miles southwest of Philadelphia in Delaware County. Just on the SDR this morning, the Anon 200D with the Behringer B1 microphone, and using an AL80B amplifier at about 175 watts of carrier into a 600 ohm ladder line fed doublet, apex about 65 feet. And and using a homebrew balanced L network tuner. I just finished as well, and everything seems to be working okay. Got the DX100 with the NC303 warming up on the other side of the room, so we'll probably hop over to that for the next round. But just I hope everybody had a great Christmas here. Won't keep it long. I know the group is growing fast, and I hope everybody has a great New Year coming up. Good morning to you, Steve, KD3HT. Good morning to you, Pop, W2SDR, and good morning to everyone else. Everyone's sounding really good here this morning in Chester, Pennsylvania. So over to you, Kevin. Sounded real good coming out of Lexington, Kentucky on the Flex this morning, and a really good signal as always. KK4GZQ in the old military radio net. This is W3MMR.
Turning it over to me, W3MMR, the old military radio net. Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year coming up really quick now. It always comes up fast right after Christmas. Good morning to Tom, W2ILA out of Rhode Island with the P368 R390. Good, great. Sounds beautiful, Tom. Hello to KD3HT. Hello to W2SDR Frank, WA7DIA, and KA8TUR there in Michigan. Good morning to all of you. My name is Kevin. I'm located near Lexington, Kentucky. Little farming community called Nonesuch, 16 miles southwest, running a Flex 3000 with a Collins 30S1 out to an inverted V at about 62 feet at the apex. And for whatever it's worth, this 30S1 came from Willow Springs, Ohio, which is right outside of the military base there, Wright-Patterson. They're close to Dayton and Xenia, right in there. And it was rumored that this one was used on the base there. Just a rumor, makes good for a story anyway. Here it comes, Tom. W4ILA. Good morning to the old military radio net from KK4GZQ.
Yeah, very good. KK4 GZQ. This is W2ILA. Great signal into Rhode Island this morning, Kevin. Great to hear you. And the stamp of approval on the 30S1 is on that amp. Very nice setup. All signals are really good this morning. Been a while since talked to you, Frank. Jack, I think I've only worked you on CW. So nice to hear W7DIA in there. Great signal over to Rhode Island. I wanted to make sure I made late year. It's been a while since I checked into the morning net. So I wanted to make sure I made it on. I've been waking up every morning about 4 o'clock, but ending up back in bed shortly after. So today got up a little bit later. No great news to report on the radio front here. In fact, on the list of things to do, I'm working for the 2 weeks of holiday. I'll go back till the 6th of January, which is really nice. I got a good project list, and one of them is to clean off the workbench so I can get some radio projects done. But it's been so nice and so warm that I'm doing some outside things, and haven't had a chance to play any radio repair yet this winter. So I'll work on that and get to it eventually. As mentioned, I'm just running the T368 this morning, listening on the R390A, and Chris, you mentioned the net might be going up on close to 30 years, which is exactly how long I've had this setup. So I'm not. I don't remember the early years check-ins, but I had moved this from when I was living on Long Island up to Rhode Island. I was renting in a little house in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, and remember tapping a new line into the breaker box. There was actually a fuse box in the basement of that old rental house in order to have this thing in the dining room at the time. I don't think the landlord really cared what I was doing. He saw antennas going up on the roof. It was a little cottage out on a golf course, so I had tons of room, especially in the winter. Nobody was around to string up wires and all kinds of stuff back then. Good to hear everybody. I'm not sure I'm going to make round 2. Give it the best shot, but just wanted to make sure. I was able to say hello to everyone this morning. And Glenn, thanks for picking up the net. Haven't heard Ted on the CW net on Sundays in a while either. Over to you, Steve. Great signal into our RI here. KD3HT W2ILA.
W2ILA in the group for KD3HT. Yeah, good morning.
everyone had a merry, nice Christmas. And Perry, hope you're having fun down there with your esteemed visitor. And everybody is booming in here this morning. I'm running an ART-13 here and listening on the SDR receiver locally. And I've had a nice week. It's already 40 degrees this morning here. That's like unbelievable. Here we are in December. But maybe and do some things like this and or something is worthwhile. But I don't want to end this stuff. I'll crap out in the T3 some in the backup ART-13. I've been spending more time outside playing on the backhoe and moving stuff around in the yard than radio playing. So, but it sounds like everyone is hearing everybody this morning, which is great. Kevin, the other people up here being the furthest away, and the shortest distance would be you or Curry or Frank, and good signals there, so no complaints all the way around. Oh no, I guess the furthest along would be you, Jack. I hope you're copying me. You don't need a signal here as well. Besides that, not a whole lot going on. Just trying to piece things together. So, moving forward here this morning. So I guess to you, Frank, W2SDR, send a good present to everybody, KD3HD.
Yeah, KD3HT in the group. W2SDR. Overslept a little bit today. Missed the treatment. I was listening a little bit while I was making my coffee, so yeah. I'll agree with everyone. Great conditions. And Jack DIA from down here in Georgia is coming through really, really well for this station away. Kevin, the whole group, Tom. Haven't worked you in a while. The last time we worked was on 160 about a year or so ago. So it's been some time. We got a busy day today, getting together with Pat and my grandson and his son. That's our plans for today in a couple of hours. So I think I should be awake by that time. So 41 degrees here in Salem County, New Jersey. Running my SDR this morning. Just going to go down to the shack to fire up the old stuff, but this was more convenient in the upstairs operating position, so I'm running on this morning with the LD Moss amp. So, let's move it around here. Let's get it over there to WA7DIA, down there in the state of Georgia, in the old military radio net, W2SDR.
Yeah, good morning. W2SDR in the old military radio net, WA7DIA. Good morning, everybody. First time I've checked in in quite a while. It's been a combination of conditions, both for me and propagation. Every time I've tried to check in the last couple of weeks, the band was very noisy, very long, not hearing anybody. And anyway, weather here today is pretty nice. We're going to be a fairly nice day today. Chance of rain, about 50 degrees out there, supposed to go 70 degrees, so that's a pretty nice day. Very good message this morning. Hearing everybody. Steve is a little on the weak side, but everybody else is very strong. Running the ARC-38 this morning, about a little over 100 watts out into the backflow of about 60 feet. And with that, I'm going to turn it up to KA8VUR. I'm not sure what the name is. So I'll turn it up to you. KA8VUR for the old military radio net, 7DIA. WA7DIA, WA7DIA. Hey, this is KA8QR, Kilowatt Alpha 8, Tango Uniform Romeo. Location here is Milford, Michigan. Milford, Michigan, and the name here is Jim Juliet India Mike June. In any event, they're been switching around between 3 different rigs this morning to see which one I can use. I'm hoping to be able to use them all, but right now I'm running what they call an AMGRC 236, which is a Harris RF 5020 with its 400-watt amp. Running AME, which is the compatible AM class upper sideband mode. Little help signal here, kind of right on the fringe of everybody, I think. There's SSB stations, and then some other interference here, so I figured I'd pull the big one out first, and then watch some others later on. In any event, there's also a GRC 106, which is running, waiting to get on the air as well, too, also running. It can also run AME, and they got the PC224 and the ART13 also ready to go. That's the PC224 is just simply too wide in selectivity there. We're getting an awful lot of other stations in there, so we did want to make sure that we got through. In any event, Milford, Michigan is just outside Detroit. It's a northwestern suburb. The GRC 236 now is running into the multi-band dipole on the roof, facing you guys on the East Coast. By the way, once they switch to this rig, everybody has nice copy out here. Able to copy everybody. ILA, KK4, and GZ, off of Electric and SMG. Everybody on the list is doing good. Great to be on the air. Haven't been on in a while myself. Looking forward to being on a little bit more frequently. So I'm just going to turn it over here to our next control here. Glance over to you, N1 SNG. This is last on the list here, so I'm going to N1 SNG. This is KA8 and PUR. Over to you.
W1 JDR.
Okay, there, W1 JDR checking in. Okay, very good. All right, Jim, nice signals out of Michigan this morning into Rhode Island, right on the East Coast here, so looking pretty good all the way around. Signals are right up there, Jack. Nice signals this morning. And of course, Frank at full flying, Steve, Tom, just a real delight to have these signals coming in this morning. So we're going to do another call up here at the end of the list. We just had W1 JDR check in. So any other check-ins for the old military radio net, please call in at this time.
K4FNY, good morning.
And K3HVG.
Any other check-ins for the old military radio net? Okay. Very good. Let me see. K4FNY. Charlie. Very good morning to you, sir. It's been a while. Ted is absent this morning, as far as we know, so we're taking the controls and trying to run the net through here. Got some great signals. So, new check-ins, W1 JDR, K4FNY, Charlie, K3HVG, WB4WCJ, Paul. Any other check-ins? Call now. Okay, I'm going to run the bottom of the list here. 4 check-ins. So, Wally, over to you. W1JDR, no military radio net, N1SNG.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Get the cobwebs out here.
everything seems to be working okay here. Let me just tickle this. There we go. I'm in North Reading, Massachusetts, and the transmitter is a 32V3 Collins. The receiver is a 51J4 Collins, and the antenna is a skirted dipole that is about in the 160 meter band, fed by 4-inch space open wire feeder line. And it works well on this band and on 160 and 40. There's space restrictions, so I have to get the ends down a little bit, but it works okay. And just using a D104 mic right into the transmitter with no processing. And it seems to work pretty well. It's doing about 100, 105 watts, somewhere in that area. Anyways, I haven't been on in a while, but we've had company up here from Virginia, and they're all upstairs scurrying around, getting ready to go back for the end of the holiday season here. So I'll keep it short. I'm not sure where it goes from here, so N1SNG, I'm sure you can direct it. This is W1JDR. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Wally. K4FNY, along with K3HVG, and this W14WCJ. That'll be the down at the end of the list there. Over to you, Charlie. Yeah, QSL.
Okay, N1SNG. And the old military net K4FNY, good morning. On this 10-degree morning here in Charlotte. My name here is Charlie, and BC 610 and HQ 150 fever. Over here and an inverted L antenna. So it's 62 degrees here. It's going to be another pretty day here. We got rain coming in Sunday, but it's going to be a nice day here. Good to hear everybody on the net this morning. Everybody's exceptionally loud today. So, there's Jeep, K3HVG in the old military net, K4FNY.
Yeah, good morning, Charlie. K4FNY and the old military radio net, K3HVG. Jeep in Monrovia, Maryland, about 22 miles northwest of D.C. Running the ARC 25 this morning with one of the ARR-15 receivers. Came from Jack, of course, down south. Still working, Jack. Still doing yeoman service. The only thing to report radio-wise is when it rains, it pours. I mentioned I picked up a factory-wired Brilliant. Incredibly cheap from an ex-colleague of mine in government, and it was delivered a couple weeks ago. And then the same gentleman came up a couple days ago to visit people up here in Rockville and brought up a trunkload of ICO equipment, I guess it's a 720, what is this? 2 transmitters, 2 modulators, and 1 VFO. They're all kits, of course. The VFO was built 2 years ago, so whomever had it before me just took it out of the box and built it. So the gear looks nice. What I really wanted was the modulators, because if you don't have the ARC-5 and 274N modulator, these ICO modulators work perfect. So I've been looking for a modulator, and now I've got 2 of them. So when it rains, it pours. So that's the deal from here. It's currently 63 degrees, so we're 1 degree more than up in Jersey. Paul, down to you in Hardyville, WB4 WCJ, and the old military radio net, K3HVG. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, real fine. Well, it's in the upper 50s here, upper 50s, and maybe getting to rain later, but copying everyone here, copying pretty good all the way around, so try to amplify just to be able to check in. Hope you are copying M1SNG. I hope you copy WB4WCJ 530.
Yeah, WB4, WCJ. Nice signal into Rhode Island this morning, Paul. Nice to hear your voice in here in its entirety. And that goes through the other stations checking in. Just beautiful signals this morning. Morning to Chief. And another delivery on some radio gear. Sounds like the Valiant is in beautiful shape. Yeah, nice to hear that on the air. ARC 25 doing a fantastic job. No doubt about it. So, good to hear the ARC 25 on this morning. And Charlie, the amazing BC610i, just pushing out beautiful audio this morning. Nice signal. Wally, you're sounding great on the 32 3V there, V3. Nice to have you check in also. So I'm going to go to the top of the list here, and then when we're done, we'll go for some more check-ins. So, Chris, I'm going to send it up to you, and we'll go down the list and see who's in there standing by. AJ1G in the old military radio net. 2 take it from N1SNG.
Okay, very good, Glenn. N1SNG. The old military radio net, AJ1G. Oh man, I'm way low in frequency here. Man, I'm like, I gotta come up. I'm moving up the band. Okay, should be pretty much right on 3885. Okay, the plate meter is right at the top of the green band on the ART-13, and the monkey's swinging right where it's supposed to be. And so everything, as they say in the closing line of one of the closing lines of Christmas Story, the old K2ORS Gene Shepard Christmas Story, all is right with the world here on the ART-13 on this twixt Christmas and New Year old military radio net. And yes, all stations are just coming in beautifully. Hardyville, Paul down in Hardyville, Jeep, you're just booming in. I don't know if you heard me, Jeep, but I've got my command set system, the T21 or the T19 and the T22 ARC 5 transmitters, the SCR 274 AC 456 screen modulator, driving with a DS33, got that up and running, feeding that outboard audio, and it sounds great. Got the GRC9 up and running, got the Model 19 wireless set up and running. The only transmitter I really don't have running right now is the being run is the GRC19. I got bad diodes in the auto-tuned sensing circuit. And I think I have the replacements for them, but I just need to know how to do that. I'll have to dig into that at some point. I made a mistake a couple years ago. I think I tried to transmit into an open antenna circuit, and that took them out. But the dynamotor's churning away. Let's see what sort of output I got here. Watt meter says close to 200 watts, but I think that's a little on the high side. I think that's overly optimistic. I think the calibration's off. I'm just using a little gold line, I've had this thing forever, a watt meter, kind of like a fancy CB watt meter, but does have the 10, 100, and 1,000 watt scales. It's probably like 150 watts maybe on a good day here. So, yeah, Tom, nice to hear you in here early this morning. I hope to be on the CW net tomorrow night. And I will take the net if Ted's not there, but I don't know who took the net last week. I didn't make any commitments. I don't think I did.
it anyhow, but we had company over and I couldn't really support it last Sunday night. Had a great Christmas, radio-related Christmas presents. My son Dave gave me another little Newelec SDR dongle. This is a really teeny tiny one. It's like those half a thumb drive type packages, and it's got a teeny tiny RF input connector on it. I gotta see if I have the appropriate adapter or my adapter kit that came with my original SDR, Newelec SDR that I got from him last year or the year before last, and this one is, I guess, he got it for me so I can use it with my iPhone if I ever wanted to do it. So that'll be fun. I was thinking I could make a complete micro station using any SDR receiver on my iPhone, and then build up some sort of, at the very least, a little QRP CW transmitter to go with it. That would be a lot of fun. I could probably carry it in my pocket. Just have the wires hanging out. So over to Perry and the rest of the old military radio net. Great conditions this morning. W3MMR in the old military radio net, AJ1G.
Alright, hold on. Let me make sure. Just switched over to the DX100. Everything should be up to snuff and well enough, as they say. And that's why I absolutely love this rig. It's always right where I leave it. Alright. Thanks, Chris. AJ1G in the old military radio net. This is W3MMR. Switched over to the old bucket of bolts, as I call it, the DX100. With a D104 here, restored and modified by myself. Listening on an NC303. It's also been I guess halfway restored, pretty much refinished, retubed, but I got a really good deal on the 303. Didn't have to really do that much to it to get it to be pristine, but sure is a great receiver. It is definitely the dream receiver, as they labeled it back in the 50s when it was new. Still, everybody's holding up here really well. I mean, I probably couldn't ask for more perfect conditions for the net here this morning. Let me grab my notebook here and just run down the list, say hello to everyone. Good morning to you, Jack, Jim, Wally, Charlie, Jeep, and Paul. Everybody's at least 15 over S9 here in the southeastern Pennsylvania. So, like I said, fantastic conditions here. This morning, we got 34 degrees here, so that's weird, Steve. It's chillier here than it is up there in the Poconos. It's 99.9% of the time it's the opposite way around. So I guess it's kind of weird. I don't know if it's supposed to rain today. I don't know. I didn't look at the forecast. I know we're supposed to get rain at some point because it's supposed to be in the 50s all week here. So. I didn't check the weather forecast today, but yep, just looking forward to getting over to Jersey to see the OM over there, and bringing the grandson over, and we're gonna spend the day together, go down to the Jersey Shore probably, and show my son where I grew up and what I used to do as a kid when I was his age down there. So 3 generations driving down in the car there. Back down to relive what life was like when I was a kid down there at the shore, and he's gonna love it. He's really looking forward to it. He thinks the world of his grandpa, and he was super excited last night. So I'm sure he'll be up bright and early, rip-roaring and raring to go over to New Jersey this morning. So we'll keep it moving along here. So down to you, Kevin. KK4GZQ. In the old military radio net, this is W3MMR.
Okay, Perry, W3MMR with the old military radio net, KK4GZQ. Kevin, located about 16 miles southwest of Lexington, Kentucky, a little farming community called Nonesuch. and we are about 6 air miles from the Wild Turkey Distillery, where they make that famous Wild Turkey 101, the kickin' chicken, if you will. Anyway, hello again to Jack, WA7DIA, that joined the net, and KA8TUR Jim, there in Michigan, I believe. And Glenn, I missed the call of the station W1GDR, anyway, 32V3, I believe, if I got my notes right here. And it sounded good here on the flight side this morning. Hello, Charlie, K4FNY on the 610 this morning. Beautiful as always, Charlie. And hello to Jeep, K3HVG, with a big signal down here in, up northeast as well. And then turning down southeast, down to Paul, WD4CDJ there in South Carolina, 20 over, and I think he said he was running a 735 ICOM with maybe a modified Dentron. Hello to my buddy Steve up in Pennsylvania, 3HT with a 20 over signal. Steve, great to hear you this morning. And like I said, Happy New Year's coming up to all of you. Chris, interesting, you talk a lot about, setting up down at Stonington Point, I guess that is, and working all your DX and with all the different stuff that you have there, both vintage and new. And I can say that my trips to Florida, setting up with a temporary antenna with 25 watts, just running DC power down there, is one of the highlights of my ham hobby, that's for sure. So, and of course, Terry, Jersey Shore with Frank and you and your son, man, that just sounds like a big thumbs up on that. You guys have a lot of fun. I'm sure you will. And I've heard a lot about the Jersey Shore. They even had a TV show or something about that. Anyway, on around to Tom. Here it comes to Rhode Island, W2ILA with the Old Military Radio Net, KK4GZQ. How copy?
You okay, Kevin? KK4GZQ from W2ILA in Jamestown, Rhode Island. Great signals from everyone. Kevin booming in, doing very, very well. And Wally, of course, near neighbor up here in New England, sounding quite good. Paul, Jeep, Charlie, all great signals. Jeep's been a while since I caught you on this net, and again, usually it's the CW net, so nice to hear you in here this morning. Well, it's good to know the T3's been chugging along, and I'm up here in the barn, and I have my Christmas gift on. It's a heated vest, so I've got a heated vest on, and I'm toasty warm. I got the heat way down in the barn here, but it's very, very comfortable with the T3 warming things up, and the R390A trying to heat the shack, and then the heated vest keeping me going. So I'm gonna keep this moving. I have to say 7-3s to everyone. Great to hear everybody on the last net of the year. So it'll be 2020 during the next check-in. So good to hear everyone. Glad I was able to check on, and glad everyone else was able to make it in here and say hello this morning. Really nice to hear everybody, and great signals from out there in Michigan down into let's see who's down south. Charlie's down there, and was thinking of Jack. So we got a good wide area covered here, and really good conditions to do it. Thanks for taking the net, Glenn, and maybe catch up with you locally during the week. On to you, Steve. KD3HT, this W2ILA.
Okay, very good, Tom. W2ILA in the old military radio net, KD3HT. As everyone has commented, all stations here at least 20 over. Very nice signals, and a warm welcome to the people joining there, Wally and Wally. I don't know that we've spoken. My name is Steve, located near Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, northeast PA. We're at ART-13 and listening on Airs by HF Plus SDR radio. And Charlie, you've been absent and missing, so good to hear your voice coming in there nice and clearly. Jeep sounding good on your ART-13, and Paul sounded good up here on the IC-735. So good conditions continuing. And Perry, you know, I looked at my thermometer. I checked local weather. And they have it 40 degrees up in Mount Pocono, but a local weather station to me, probably a few miles away, has it at 32. So I don't know what it is. It was warm when I stepped outside for the dog before getting on the net here. So I'm going to stick to the 40 degrees, I guess. And maybe my weather station needs a battery. I don't know. But sounds like you have a great day planned. We have my first grandson here. He's here for the next full week, so he's bringing lots of enjoyment. And I hope to see grandson number 2 today as well. So we have some visitors coming over. My brother's coming up from Jersey, so it should be a nice day. Project-wise here, still fussing through the BC 610, slowly making progress there. And I thought I had it kind of lit, but there's still some RF issues to deal with. And the T3 heard a little pop when I was transmitting on air, and the RF output, the modulation is no longer. So have to look at that closely when I get a chance. And pulling the decks out and finding a place to put them is a real job in this Radio Shack here. So I don't know if Frank I don't think you said you were gone after 1, so hopefully you're still there this morning, Frank. And if not, Jack, you will get it. W2SDR in the old military radio net, KD3HT.
Yeah, KD3HT in the old net. W2SDR. Okay, great. Yeah, let me say good morning to the folks I haven't said good morning to yet. Paul, I haven't heard you in a long time. Down there in Hardyville, it's good to hear you on the 735. Charlie, haven't worked you in a while. You guys get such a crowd anymore in the mornings, and I hear you all in there. But I just sit and listen in there in the morning. So great hearing you, Charlie. Happy New Year all the way around. Jeep, Happy New Year. Kevin, well, you had a booming signal up this way last night. You and your crowd down there. I was listening around dinner hour, and you were just net controlling it up there. And booming signal up this way into New Jersey last night. And that show, Jersey Shore, is nothing like the Jersey Shore that Perry and I go to. That show is like really, really outlandish. That's a part of the Jersey Shore that's up near New York City, which is quite a bit different than the Jersey Shore down in the southern part of the state. That's for sure. That show was pretty wacky. I think some of those people ended up in jail. That was quite a show there. Anyway, this will be my final, so everyone have a great day and great weekend here, and a Happy New Year. Be safe, whatever you decide to do. So 7-3 all the way around. Over to you, Tom. WA7DIA in the old military radio net, W2SDR. 73.
W2SDR in the old military radio net. 73. Conditions still holding out very well. The band is quiet. Conditions are stable. Signals are strong. Everybody is fairly easy. Is very good copy to fairly easy copy. And just all around good day. Anyway, I heard the thing about the net being on for 30 years. Well, I've only been around here for 10. I moved back here from Nevada 10 years ago, and after I retired, I can't imagine where the time went. Looking back, it seems like it just flew by. So, anyway, that time, it's been watching you on voice. I haven't been able to make the CW net lately. Sunday nights have just been a little too busy and hectic for me, so I tried to check in once about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and didn't hear anybody. So I heard everybody, but just everybody was sounding the noise, so I didn't even bother to check in. Don't have too much more to add, not much going on new radio-wise. I do have a new radio here. It's SA200, a portable sideband radio, about 20 watts output that is currently taking up the time space in the workbench. Turns out it had a bad PA transistor in it, and I'm waiting for a replacement for it to show up. So anyway, that's about it from here, and I will turn it to KA8DUR. Tim, go ahead and take it. WA7DIA.
N1SNG, Glenn, in North Kingstown, Rhode Island, also on an ART-13, and yours is really punching through there, Jim. The T17 modulator is fantastic. Don't touch any of those dials, and just let her run there, sounding good. Nice to have you in here this morning. So with that, we'll finish up the rest of the list here, and then we'll do some more call-ups. So it's going to be Wally, the Roland JDR, Charlie K4FNY, K3HVG, then down to the bottom, WB4WCJ. So Odie Wally, W1 JDR to take it, and the old N1SNG.
Yeah, very good. N1SNG, this is W1 JDR. Well, as far as radio projects go, I have a bunch of them here, but what's recent that popped up is an ART-13. I was able to get a DY-17 dynamo recently, excuse me, And after fussing around with it, I pulled the end bells off and everything looked new inside, but as soon as you put power to it, it started to suck some current. So I shut it right down. I pulled the bottom off, and the block capacitors, filter capacitors are in there. Every one of them was shorted. So I just lifted the straps off of them, and the dynamotor works excellent. It hums along really, really good. So I've got a few more things to fix on the dynamotor, and then I need to pick up the connector for the dynamotor itself. I have one for the transmitter, but not for the dynamotor. And we'll give it a whirl, see what it does into a dummy load. It came with its book and everything. I was really surprised. Most of the ART-13s, the little book is missing. So that's what's going to be up on the bench shortly, as soon as I have the motor end of it. And I have a few things to do early this morning, so I'm going to make this my last one, but everybody is coming in really, really well. Like I said before, I'm in North Reading, Massachusetts, just a little bit north of Boston. The signals are amazing. It's the first time the NORAD net I've been able to copy everybody, so that's a good thing. Over to Charlie, K4FNY. This is W1JDR. Take it away.
Okay, W1. K4FNY. Stand by. WR here. Thanks for turning over to me. I'm Uncle Quill. I've got to get to the second off. Our winter time, good night to all these old transmitters on. Man, we got great condition. So, we do have a rain moving in here late tonight for tomorrow. So, we'll do for more nice days after that. Anyway, I'm talking to everybody S9 or above here. Sometimes I can't hear a soul on this mess. Anyway, in Monrovia, Maryland, 038BG, the old military net, K4FNY.
Okay, let me turn the side tone off. I went over the headset to not wake up the XYL upstairs, and I had the switch set for the side tone from the ART-13. Anyway, nice signal from everyone. Charlie, you're loud and clear. Wally, excellent signal. Jim from Michigan, good. Jack, good and readable. Frank was incredibly strong. Steve, Tom, you were just rolling in, as was Kevin, Terry, and Chris, and that's for everybody. A Happy New Year. I hope the next year for everyone is safe and sane, and it goes well. A couple of comments for you, Chris. Regarding your discriminator diodes in the GRC-19 transmitter, it calls for germanium diodes, and I found some substitutes. I bought a bunch of 1N34s, but someone told me that the 1N914, it's a high-speed switching diode, and it's supposed to be a pretty good one and a bit more robust than the germanium. So I've got all of them down here. If you need a couple of pairs of them, I'm certain I can send them up to you. Nothing special about them. I mean, they're available everywhere, but if you get into a crunch. The other issue was that 6.3 volt 400 cycle chopper. Sometimes they can go awry, and the sampling, goes haywire for the discriminator. So I do still have 3 or 4 of them left, I believe. I I guess it was on eBay. I bought about 20 of them a number of years ago, and they've been kind of platted out one at a time over the years. So I do have I think it's United Technologies. It's also got a Collins part number on it. And with a 7-pin miniature tube socket type pin arrangement. But anyway, I should have tried the Art this morning, conditions being what they are. Ted will be back for the CW net tomorrow, I believe. I talked to him a couple days before he left at the net, and he witnessed 2 of the AM nets. But he, if I understood correctly, he will be back for the CW net tomorrow. He's went up with his one of his daughters. So I guess that's the only comments I've got. 30 years for this net, that's impressive. I remember when I first got on, Ted and Norm N3RZU prompted me to get on. I was using a Viking 2 and a 75A4, and then I started accumulating military gear, so that's the deal. Okay, next up from here, Paul, back down to you. WB4, WCJ, any old military radio net, K3HVG, over.
WB4, WCJ, there, Paul.
No joy up there in Maryland.
Yeah, okay. He might have stepped out. All right, very good, Jeep. Sounding fantastic this morning, actually, with the way the conditions are. It'd be nice to go an extra hour this morning. But we'll let a good thing run as it is. And good on the, what are the 1N914s there for Chris there. Alrighty, and good morning to Will over in Jamestown. Hopefully he's listening in this morning. Yes. Join in one day, but for now, he'll have to listen in. Happy New Year to you, Will. And Wally can still listen again at DY17. Good find there. Yeah, make sure there is adequate lubrication in the bearings. And good early detection on the capacitors there. Yep, that'll some of these old rigs I'm sitting around or early failures. You got to pick up where somebody left off, and without any further damage to such a precious piece of equipment there for the Art 13. Fantastic. Be great to hear that on the air. Alrighty, so let's try to reload the list here. We'll have another call up for the old military radio net. Any other stations out there wanting to join in, please call N1SNG.
N1SNG, WB3CTC.
WB3CTC. Morning, Mike. Any other check-ins for the old military radio net? Call now. And no audio. Anyone else for the net? Nothing good at this end here. And we'll get it over to Mark. Just at the bottom of the list here, then we'll go to the top again with Chris, who is probably the most active mobile operator, coastal operations. Yes, good job on that, Chris, and keep up the good work there. So what do you make? WB3 CTC from N1SNG, filling in for W3PWW.
Okay, thanks a lot, N1SNG, and the net. This is WB3CTC. Name's Mike. QTH is Lancaster, PA, and we're on the ART-13 and the BC-348. And hope everybody had a nice Christmas, and looks like the old military radio net is getting its Christmas present in good propagation for a change. Man, it just doesn't get much better than this. I'm really happy to be able to hear everybody. Everybody just barreling in here. So, back to you, N1SNG and the old military radio net, WB3CTC.
Yeah, okay, Mike. WB3CTC and 1SNG. Just a beautiful signal into Rhode Island this morning, just near full quieting. Nice to hear you this morning. I'm going to try getting Paul back in here. If he's still there, just give one last call up there. WB4WCJ for N1SNG.
You're taking in new guys as well?
K1IC. Yeah, K1IC. N1SNG. Good morning, Gary. Make transmission, pass it back to me, and we'll go from there. Nice signal this morning, Gary. K1IC to take it to N1SNG.
Yeah, okay, Glenn. Good morning. Good morning to the net. I have never been on this before. Old military radio net. This is Kilo 1 India Charlie, Gary, in Fairfield, Connecticut. I have an R390 here on to the left of me, an R389, and an R644, which is I think it's a 220 with some modifications. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's the military equipment I have here, and I do have a sideband transmitter with this. I think it's a transmitter. Maybe it's just a receiver. Maybe it's the sideband version of the R390A. I do have the converter for the R390A as well. Yeah, the 591A. I had to go look up the number. I keep these things in my head. 100 Bravo, dipole cut for using an Alpha 76 and the A as an amplifier for the moment. And our RE27 mic in directly into the Anon, so that's the last video. Good morning to everybody. I moved a little bit. I heard Steve in there, KB3HT, I recognize. I don't know, and of course SDR, 2 SDR. Right. And then I had to leave the room to get my coffee. I forgot about it. I let it get too cold. I had to go warm it up. So Glenn, good to hear you. Thanks for your comments on the machine. I have another one I'm going to send you just so you can look at it for comparison. It's much more expensive and probably not as good, but it might be. I'm not.
Use a dummy load dummy.
Yeah, but it's got a tariff associated with it, so it's coming from a foreign country. It's got a Trump line on it. But I got to tell you, it probably won't have anything to do with that for that reason. No, not that it's Trump, but it's the tariff. I don't want to pay the extra money. All right, so back to net control. N1SNG signals are all very, very good here this morning, and they were just terrific on 160 as well. N1SNG, K1IC.
Yeah, okay, Gary, K1IC, N1SNG. Thanks for checking in. And I think Perry was going to sign there. I don't know. I'm going to Chris. I'm going to drop it right down to Perry, and I think he might have to leave. So see if we can get a last minute in there, and then back up to AJ1G. W3MMR. You still there?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. No, I don't need to sign. I was just somebody was throwing a carrier on top of Gary there, and I said use a dummy load dummy. That's all I said. So Chris can pick it up. I'm still sticking around. I ain't going nowhere.
I'm ready, Chris.
I picked up the wrong microphone. Hopefully, let me make sure I got it here. Go. Yeah, sometimes they do that on planes, you know, the pilot takes the wrong microphone. All right, very good all around, man. Great signals again. K2IC down there in the other end of the state, booming signal. Yeah, I wonder what the 644 is. What type of receiver is that? That's a very nice stuff over there. Yeah, we're only, we still have a whole hour at that time on a regular schedule here. Wow, things are going great. Good morning to Mike down here in Lancaster. You're early. You usually show up right around 7 o'clock. That's been your modus operandi for years. And guys should check with Dennis W7, what is he, QHO now? Out on the West Coast. He probably will remember back to the very early days of the net, because he used to, he was like the second net control. It was, first it was Walt, and then Walt kind of went on to other things. Last I heard, he's remarried, and he and his wife raised whippets, which are like sort of the greyhound dogs. He has a whippet situation going on there. He's way down in southwest Virginia somewhere. It's down in the very tail end of Virginia out to the southwest. Apparently not interested in radio anymore or something. He's just never on. I think he's still licensed. But if you search on Walt Hutchins and his call sign, you end up getting hits for his whippet situation. But anyhow, Dennis W7QHO, he was the next, forget his, he was over there in Maryland, and when he retired, he went out to the West Coast. He's very active with the West Coast guys. I'll have to get in touch with him and see what he remembers. But I'm pretty sure it was 1979 when we first started meeting on a formal basis on this schedule and frequency. Yeah, so 30 years we've been doing this, and actually, for the most part, this ART-13 of mine has been on this frequency ever since. It's pretty much the only thing I use on it. I also use it on the CW net sometimes. So, let's see. Yeah, I'm still making more tweaks to the shack here. I have an old HP scope that it only goes up to 500 kilohertz. It's like one of your entry-level scopes that a lot of the EE labs, the URI, used to have for your basic electronics lab course. You'd have a scope, an audio oscillator, and a signal generator, and a couple of voltmeters, and then you played around with all sorts of circuits. So this is one of those types of scopes, and I'm setting it up to look at the IF output of the old EH Scott SLRM, so I can look at received RF envelopes. I used to do that. That's how I used to listen to my own signal back in the day when I was a Johnny Novice in high school. Now with this scope, I have an old precision beast that's long gone. So over to you, Perry, and I don't know if we're going to make it around for another rotation here. Maybe. Everyone have a great holiday, a great weekend, a great New Year's and celebration. I wonder if anyone's going to be on Straight Key night. I'm going to be doing that. I'll probably be down, a combination here in the shack and down on the salt water. I got all my keys up to snuff. My old Mesco, Manhattan Electric Supply Company key on board type training set with the little, American Morse clicker sounder on the same board as the Straight Key, and also my wireless set 19 knee key with canvas straps. I refurbished them. They had, I don't know if mice got them and chewed them or what, but I had to refurbish them, and they're ready to go. And I like running down the road with that thing strapped to my knee, operating Straight Key CW underway. You can do that. Anyhow, over to you, Perry, and everyone have a great upcoming holiday, and all the best in the new year to you and yours. W3MMR and the Military Radio Net, last net of 2019, AJ1G, Chris in Stonington, Connecticut.
I seen a carrier in there, but it was very weak, and I could not make out who that was. So if somebody else did, please come forward with that information. Anyway, great conditions. I know I'm repeating mostly what everybody else has been saying, but this is the hands down the best conditions that we've had for the net here in a very, very long time. Probably since last year, I would imagine. These conditions have been phenomenal. Everybody has been a solid 15-0, at least a solid 15 over. Some guys upwards of 30 over here into the SDR this morning. Back on the Anon here, because I had to do some work on the computer, so I figured I'd just stay on this side of the shack this morning. But good morning to you, Gary, K1IC, sounding great on your Anon. I'm on my 200D this morning, and you sound great, as always, Gary. And good morning to you, Mike, WB3CTC, sounding great as well. And like I said, everybody's just bombing in. It's down to 33 degrees here in southeastern Pennsylvania, Chester, Pennsylvania, Delaware County. And not too much else going on. Just I ran to the local Wawa between transmissions that last go around and got me a couple soft pretzels and a fresh cup of coffee and some cookies and cream milk. So we're all prepared for breakfast, and picked my son up a pack of soft pretzels, 2 soft pretzels there as well. He's visiting from South Carolina, for those that didn't hear, and he lives with his mother there full time. He's 8 years old, and he visits 3 or 4 times a year here for a week or 2 at a time. So very grateful to have him here for the holiday. And heading over to his grandfather's house today. My father's house. We'll be leaving here probably around 9 o'clock this morning to go spend some time together. So really looking forward to that. So anyway, I'll say 7-3. I guess this is probably going to be the last go round. If not, I'll probably stick in here. But if this is the last go round, 7-3, guys, have a great New Year holiday coming up. Be safe, and we'll talk to you guys in the new year, in the first net, military net of 2020. So over to you, Kevin. KK4GZQ in the old military radio net. This is W3MMR.
KW1I.
Two braking stations, KW1I, and also before we begin was WD4NKA, Gary down in Deltona. Glenn, do we want to go ahead and pick them up, or just what? Back to net control. N1SNG with your military radio net, KK4GZQ.
Okay, Kevin. Very good. Thanks for the relay there, and yeah, because the unknowingly what the conditions are going to be like, I think that's appropriate there. We'll get WD4NKA and KW1I in there. So hang on, guys. I'll get it right over to the 4 station. WD4NKA to take it. N1SNG net control for the old military radio net. Over. Okay, good morning, Glenn.
WD4NKA was light here, but copyable in New Hampshire. His name is Dale in Bow, New Hampshire. And a belated Merry Christmas. And before I forget, in fact, that's the reason I wanted to make sure I checked in this morning, is to say Happy New Year to the Military Radio Net. We've heard a couple of stations over the last 20 minutes or so. We're on the Meisner 150B, and it's dark now. Temperature is about 34 degrees. We're talking about some weather coming in on Sunday night. So we're watching that. Heading to Boston today to pick up my son's family coming in for a week. We have to do some things. So we've had a very nice holiday week with a daughter that lives close by, and not too much on the radio front, just making sure our antennas are up and checking them out, the uphauls and so on, because the winter is pretty tough on them sometimes. So we're in pretty good shape here, Glenn. N1SNG, thank you, and good morning. This is KW1I.
Check KW1I, N1SNG. Okay, very good, Dale. And good luck with getting, I believe, Phillips coming up from Florida there. And have safe travels there. And also, I want to thank you for the card that came the other day. So a Merry Christmas to you and yours also, and a very Happy New Year. And be safe. Let's send it right over to Kevin. And then it's going to go to KD3HT, Steve. So KK4GZQ in the old military radio net to take it from N1SNG.
Okay, Glenn, real good. I'll just keep it just short time here. N1SNG with the old military radio net, KK4GZQ. Good morning to Gary. WD4NKA, good signal from Deltona. Again, Gary, sounded good. A little over S9. It always are. And good morning to Dale. Good signal from up northeast. Beautiful copy and beautiful audio. And Happy New Year to everybody. I guess you guys said this is the last of the year, so I'm glad to be a part of it. Good morning to Frank again. Frank, I was just basically kidding around with you guys about the Jersey Shore. Frank said most of them went to jail from the TV show. Oh, man, I tell you, I'm laughing at him and Perry on that one together. You guys have a great time over at the shoreline there in Jersey tomorrow. Anyway, great propagation this morning from just about everywhere. Just the band conditions in beautiful shape. So with that, Glenn, you said not to send it over to Tom W2ILA, but rather Steve, my buddy up in PA. Great to hear you this morning, Steve. Always good to keep in communication with you one way or another. So Happy New Year, everyone. I've enjoyed it, and we appreciate all of your interest in AM. And just as I'll try to continue to keep doing the best I can here on this end. So up to Pennsylvania and over to you, Steve. KD3HT with the old military radio net. Here's KK4GZQ 73.
Yeah, okay, good morning, Rick. I'm sure you heard Rick Glenn and KK, good morning. And 73, Kevin. Still sounded nice and strong up here. And I enjoyed your picture of that, your family there. New bed. So, my puppy's here. She's looking at her because she wants to eat, and I'm going to I turn it over, I guess I'll walk inside of the feeder. Good morning to you, Dale. Good signal down here. It sounds like you've been busy with family things, which is great. And Mary down in Deltona. Weeks are readable here, Mary. I'm up in the Pocono Mountains, northeast Pennsylvania. And K1IC checking in for the first time. Welcome, Gary. Sounded good here. Recognized the voice right away. I think people are still thrown by your call, so it takes them a minute to recognize who you are. But good signal nonetheless. And Mike, glad to hear you check in
You know, I still have logs from most of the nets back into the 90s. And I'll have to see if I can pick them up, see what the earliest one is. It was probably 92 or 93 for me. Pete got me interested at the E2JWU, who's busy sleeping probably instead of being on the air here with us. So, nonetheless, what are you going to do? So, conditions here still nice, gone up a degree, 41 degrees here. And I'm looking forward to a good day. Get out there and play around. Like I said, have some people coming over to visit and have a quick lunch and then go back out and do some more. So, can't beat that. What we're missing here is some Brown. She was on the air with us here. And some of the other normal stations, I guess Dean is still traveling. But good to hear you jump in there. So, Glenn, doing a good job. Turn it back over to you. And I haven't heard anything from your neighbor there, where Tom's neighbor in Jamestown yet. So I left him a message, said that he had gotten a personal welcome, but his new radio, we did get him to get on 60 meters, Tom and I, last week. But trying to get him on AM is like pulling teeth out of an alligator while it's feeding. So, going on down the list, over to you. Frank signed out, so over to you, Jim. Good morning, Tom and DIA, and say good morning all around. Merry Christmas party down there in Georgia. This is KD3HT. Over.
Yeah, KD3HT at the Old Military Radio Net, WA7DIA. Sorry for the feedback. Mostly night woo going on in the background there. Anyway, conditions are starting to change a bit. Dan's starting to go up and down over the QFB, so I'm going to say 73 to everybody. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, and looking forward to the new year. Try to be on the CW Net tomorrow night, but that's been kind of iffy for me lately, so if I'm there, I'm there. Anyway, I will turn it to say 73 to everybody, and talk to everybody next weekend. KA8DUL and the Old Military Radio Net, WA7DIA.
KA8DUL, are you there, Jim? Over. Nothing heard. He must have signed. I know Wally also has signed. So over to you, Charlie. K4 FNY in the Old Military Radio Net, N1 SN.
Okay, man, N1 SNJ. The Old Military Radio Net. Yeah, they don't start the same when they're not like they were on the first go round. I'm going to go ahead and start calling the net this morning, and everyone on the net have a happy New Year. And we'll try again next weekend. So, here's my final 73, guys.
Okay, roger that. K4FNY in the Old Military Radio Net, K3HVG. Have a good rest of the day, Charlie. Okay, well, the only comment I got is Steve mentioned having the backlogs. I just picked up one of the now defunct net lists that I made up back in the late 90s, and all I can say is absent friends. There are not a few stations that I've had to learn through that are now SK. It's unfortunate that time does march on, but yeah, there were some stations back then that I haven't heard. I don't know where they are. I guess they've moved on. I guess the last time I saw Dennis was he came down here with Ted. God, I guess it's been 12 years ago, something like that. Of course, Norm is out in New Mexico, N3RZU. So a lot of people I knew have moved on. Anyway, Dale, nice signal from up your way today. And NN2K, Rick, I believe you had a decent signal. There was somebody else checking in there, Glenn. Anyway, it's right down to Paul. He did not respond last time. So if not Paul, then Mike, I guess it goes to you. Good to hear you on the net early. WB4WCJ and the old military radio net, K3HVG, over. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Okay, G. N3HVG and the old military radio net, WB3CTC. Yeah, I'll tell you, this is a definite Christmas present for the old military radio net. This propagation is great. And everybody's saying about me checking in late. I'm usually here somewhere 6:30 listening. I have a thing. If I can't hear the net control, I don't check in. I wait till I can hear net control. It's just such a pain. I'll talk to somebody out in Ohio and get relay checking into net control and all that. When the propagation's good, I'll check in. And that's why, a lot of times it's 7 o'clock or after, so I can hear net control, whatever. But anyhow, I sure am glad that the propagation is so good today. Nice hearing everybody. Hope everybody had a good Christmas, and hope you all have a happy New Year. So back to Glenn, N1SNG and the old military radio net, WB3CTC.
WB3CTC, N1SNG. Okay, Mike, thanks for checking in. Yeah, the propagation seems to be turbocharged this morning here, and there's a little bit of fading, but nothing intrusive, that's for sure. So you have a happy New Year. Again, nice to hear your voice in here, and a pounding signal into Rhode Island this morning. So hopefully we'll catch up with you next week. And let me see, with the end of the list is K1IC Gary, WB4 NKA, another Gary, KW1I, NN2K, and BY2WW. And then we'll do just another call here at the end of the list. So K1IC to take it, N1SNG. Over to you, Gary.
Okay. I don't have much more to say this morning, so I'll just, I guess Chris asked, I'll be certainly on the straight key night. I've been doing that quite a bit lately, so I wouldn't want to miss that. And perhaps I'll work you, Chris, on the at that time, probably on 80 meters. We'll see. So, Glenn, nice job, and we'll chat to you down the log. N1SNG, back to this is K1IC.
Okay, Gary. So thanks for checking in. First time. Hopefully we'll be hearing you check in at a later date. So very good. And good on the straight key night there. And you can hook up with Chris. So 7-3's Gary. Have a happy New Year. And at this time we'll go over to WB4NKA Gary. You're still with us there, Gary. Over.